Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to another Binding of Isaac video. Today, we take a look at the history of the Binding of Isaac itself. This is going to be an informational video covering the history of the game from the very beginning to the release of Repentance later this year. We're going to cover various important updates, monumental decisions, and other fun facts about Isaac's history. We'll go into detail about the creation of the Lost, the ARG to unlock the Keeper, and the future of the game with Repentance. Without further ado, let's just hop right in. In 2011, Edmund McMillan and Florian Himsold designed and produced an indie roguelike game based around the biblical story of the Binding of Isaac. Fashioned after Dungeons and The Legend of Zelda, the game was meant to create a new twist on the roguelike industry with real-time combat and a wide variety of items and power-ups needed to defeat bosses and defeat Isaac's mother. The game was a result of a week-long game jam where McMillan showcased his positive and negative opinions of growing up in a religious household. The Adobe Flash game was then released on Steam in September 2011, without the expectation of many sales, as McMillan was taking a huge risk after the success of his very popular game Super Meat Boy. Clearly, this game over-exceeded his expectations. With 6 playable characters, Isaac, Maggie, Cain, Judas, Eve, and Blue Baby, the game gained popularity due to its large amount of replayability as a roguelite. On May 28, 2012, an expansion to the Flash game was created and released on Steam. Wrath of the Lamb added 70% more content to the game with over 10 new bosses, 100 new items, 40 different unlocks, 2 additional endings, and 2 alternate levels, Sheol and the Cathedral. Trinkets, temporary items, were also implemented into the game. Samson, a brand new character, was introduced that had an increased damage rate when killing enemies. Wrath of the Lamb's success led to Edmund wanting to create another massive expansion to the game, but the limitations of the Flash language they wrote the game in kind of constrained him. So in comes Nicholas. In 2012, Tyrone Rodriguez of the game development company Nicholas reached out to McMillan about bringing the Binding of Isaac to consoles. Ed was interested, but demanded the game be reprogrammed from Flash and includes the full Wrath of the Lamb DLC. Nicholas agreed, and thus work began on the Binding of Isaac Rebirth. Rebirth, which is now available on most consoles today, Xbox, PS4, even Nintendo DS, introduced new playable characters, items, enemies, bosses, challenges, and seeds, allowing for players to play the same runs as other players. The game also introduced new characters: Azazel, a demon with flight and a small brimstone beam, and Lazarus, a character with an extra life, and finally, Eden, a randomizer who started with different items and stats every single run. Throughout the original Flash game's development, Ed would hide little secrets and Easter eggs inside the game to get the community to talk about it and discuss the game. In Rebirth, Ed hoped to bring that to a brand new level. He knew players would be looking for secrets when Rebirth launched, so he took drastic measures to completely hide a quote-unquote final playable character, the Lost, from the public. And with that, 109 hours later, the Lost was uncovered. To unlock it, Edmund expected the community to die in self-sacrifice rooms while holding the missing poster trinket. This exact scenario is incredibly unlikely to actually occur, and Ed expected it to be months or even years until the Lost was actually uncovered. Upon dying in these self-sacrifice rooms, a puzzle piece would appear, which when put together gave you directions for how to unlock the Lost. You had to die 4 times, with 4 different characters in 4 very unique scenarios. Dying as Isaac to a Mullaboom in the basement, followed by dying to your own bomb as Maggie in the caves, followed by getting killed by Mom's foot as Judas in the depths, and then finally getting killed by Satan's first form as Azazel. If you did all of those in a row without any other runs, you would unlock the Lost, a character that had no HP and died on the first hit. This led to me having a negative 267 streak in the Binding of Isaac Rebirth on PS4, but hey, that's a side note. In 2015, McMillan announced the first expansion to Rebirth, Afterbirth. Afterbirth offered a new game mode in the game, Greed Mode, new alternate floors, a new character, Lilith, and a new floor featuring a new final boss, Hush. These new floors included those such as the flooded caves and burning basement, and most importantly, the blue womb. On release, the game was incredibly buggy and missing content, which led the community to be disappointed pretty early on as they felt the game was incomplete. But then they started to notice that things just seemed off. Not really buggy, but just off. The new Green Mode game mode featured a donation machine at the end of the run that gave bonuses when donated to, but on launch, the machine would break at 109 coins rather than the expected 999. This was fixed 109 hours later in a quick patch, allowing the machine to store more than 109 coins and also adding a new achievement, Generosity, which was received upon reaching the cap of 999 coins. The item Money Equals Power is item ID 109 and featured a new teaser text of "Where are you?" in the game when moused over. These clues were clearly a reference to the 109 hours it took for the lost to be discovered, and the community was ready for the wild goose chase the devs were going to send them on. When enough people reached the Generosity achievement around November 12th, the Steam achievement for Generosity was updated to a piece of paper with black lines and dots on it. When the number of pixels in each line were counted, it gave the number series 108, 69, 82, 66, 101, 73, 76, which was then translated to ASCII code, which becomes IERBEIL. This led to an Imager URL link with a picture of the Lost. Resized to 109 by 109 pixels, the picture was a reference to the movie The Lost Boys, which references the Santa Cruz boardwalk. A Reddit user's brother went to the boardwalk and found a missing poster, resembling the trinket in-game used to unlock the Lost, with a 7-digit phone number on the poster. Yep, you guessed it, 109 again. On the back of the poster is written "God is Spirit," a reference to John chapter 4, verse 24 in the Bible, thus calling 424-444-0109 directs the caller to a voicemail saying, "Hello, Isaac. I am your father. I know what you came for, but I need to hear you ask me." That evening, the voicemail was then replaced with a new message. "Christ calls, generous gods don't guide history forever. We need to go deeper." Upon converting the first letter of each word in the message to the first character and using an alphanumeric code, the voicemail was converted to GPS coordinates. At this point, the devs told the community to bring a shovel. At the location, a small greed statue was dug up with a variety of text written on it. It said to give the statue a voice and listed a username and password, "I am Isaac's body," and password, "Isaac is dead." Using these credentials on Twitter allowed the community to tweet as the statue, thus giving him a voice. The game was patched, adding a brand new character to the game when you blow up the greed donation machine at 1,000 coins. The Keeper offered a new mechanic, coin health, and made the community wish they never actually unlocked it. In December 2015, Nicholas announced that another expansion, Afterbirth Plus, was in development. This added new monsters, bosses, items, and a new playable character to the game. It also would include the bestiary, but most importantly, Steam Workshop support, allowing the community to keep the game alive in what was claimed to be its final update. The update promised booster packs, a series of updates adding new content both from Ed himself, but also from the community's mod creations. There were 5 booster packs total, which added new items and bosses, but the final update revealing a final character to the game, the Forgotten. Unlocked by carrying the dangerous mom's shovel to the darkroom and uncovering his corpse, the Forgotten offered another new mechanic as being the first melee character in the game. With that, the community took a long breath in realizing they were playing the last update to the game. Psych! In September 2018, Macmillan once again revealed that a new final DLC would come to the Binding of Isaac Rebirth, Repentance. This would introduce the fan-made expansion Anti-Birth into the game. Anti-Birth is a fan-made expansion to the Binding of Isaac Rebirth released a few weeks before Afterbirth Plus was released. The mod became a quick hit in the community as a challenging and also balanced alternative to the standard game. It introduced a large amount of new content, including new characters such as Bethany and Jacob and Esau, the two-headed monstrosity that revolutionized a brand new character mechanic in the game. A few of Afterbirth's lead devs had been enlisted by Macmillan to work on the final booster pack of the game, and primarily working on dev for Repentance, leaving the community to think that development on the Afterbirth mod had been halted. This DLC will introduce upwards of 4 new floors to the game, 2 new characters, new items, bosses, enemies, and a whole lot of content, possibly more than all of the DLCs combined, and this is now the 5th time that I've recorded a different date for when it's releasing. Macmillan continues to expand his name from the initial Basement Collection and Isaac franchise with games such as The End Is Nigh, The Legend of Bumbo, and the new Binding of Isaac card game, The Binding of Isaac 4 Souls. This man has revolutionized the gaming industry and continues to put smiles on thousands of people's faces worldwide daily. I'm excited to see where the Isaac adventure takes us in Repentance and continue to love and appreciate this long-running game. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you found something in this video interesting. I implore you to check out some of my Isaac series on the channel where we break the bounds of the game with fun Isaac related minigames and other modded fun. Thanks again. I'll see you next time. You have a good one. Goodbye.